Hello, everybody. This is Vince Russo for the brand. I just sat back and I just watched Battleground for the last 3 hours. I'm going to review the show tonight, but tonight I got a little special show for you because usually I'm doing the reviews with Jeff Lane. I wanted to mix it up a little bit. And a story that I just told you about on our last show involving a bar mitzvah and a German made me think a lot about the guy that's going to do the review with me tonight. Listen, I say this all the time, and I know my guest tonight can vouch for me. I was in the wrestling business. It's 26 years now. I started at about 1991, officially in the business, or making money in the wrestling business. Let me put it to you that way. In 1991, so it's been 26 years, and I always say this. You know what, bro? You always say that you can count your true friends in life on one hand. Well, let me tell you something. You can count your true friends in wrestling on 3 fingers. Trust me, there ain't enough true friends to fill a hand. And the guy on the show with me tonight is definitely one of those true friends. Started with me at the beginning. We had a little ditty on Long Island, WBAB radio in West Babylon, Vicious Vincent's World of Wrestling with the Matt Rat and the great Skull Von Crust. And Skull Von Crust, who later went to greatness in WCW, WWE, ECW as being Big Vito, is joining me tonight. So I guess you could say, Vito, the band is back together, bro.
Back together. Let's put it like this. Let's get it in a date. You got the Pavarotti of hard shots to the body. The Paisan who's got it going on. That fly Italian guy from SI. An ECW original. WCW champion. A member of the NYC and TNA and the toughest man to ever wear a dress from the FBI in the WWE. The one, the only, Big Vito, the Skull LaGrasso from Staten Island, New York. And who in the hell is The Rock?
Yeah, and you know what, Vito? Here you are, bro. 26 years, bro. You made it through the war. You're still standing. You look as good as ever. And listen, I'm not blowing smoke, bro, but I'm telling you something. When I sit here and I watch this Battleground, Skull, how old are you now, bro?
53.
50, bro, no doubt in my mind, 95% of the current WWE roster, you could kick their ass right now. Am I downselling it? Is it more like 98, 99? What do you think, bro?
I think I'd give a good run of them for their money, and I'd put my money on me 9 times out of 10.
Bro, 53 years old. You still look like $1 million. And Vito, just to give people a little background, and this is a shoot, bro. This is kind of where it all started with me and you. I remember I got into the radio, and I wanted to learn everything I possibly could learn about wrestling. I wanted to know the ins and the outs. I really wanted to be a student of the business. I wanted to understand the business in front of the camera, behind the camera. So I went to Johnny Rod's school of wrestling. I didn't want to be a wrestler. I didn't want to be a manager. I wanted to learn how it worked on the other side of the curtain. And I'll never forget it, bro, because you were a student there at that time. And, bro, you immediately caught my attention because I'm going to say it to this day, bro. And you know I work for 3 different companies. You know I work with just about everybody. Bro, the way you worked and busted your ass at Johnny Rod's wrestling school during the training phase of your training, before you ever went to WCW, ECW, before any of that, it was your freaking work ethic, bro, that I sat there and I watched you back in 91. And you know what, bro? I think this really defines you, you know, Vito. Tell me if I'm wrong or not. The heart. the heart I saw in you wanting to make it and putting everything out there to make it. If you never made it in the wrestling business, you would have been able to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I gave it my all. But, bro, the heart and just giving everything you had, that's what impressed me about you, bro. Your drive, your dedication, your heart, that's what grew me to you. And here we are 26 years later. Is that a fair assessment of you back in those days?
That is the fairest assessment that you can make, because you know Vito from Vito, and you don't know, you're not friends with me because I'm Big Vito. You're not friends with me because of the skull. You're friends with me because you met me as Vito LaGrasso and you saw what I put into the business. And I took that drive for 25 years, every place I went, and I did everything in the wrestling business you could possibly do. Like you said, you have 3 fingers and you got 2 friends, a couple of true friends.
Yeah. No, exactly. And, you know, Vito, maybe we need to listen. We're going to spend the night together here. We're going to talk about the Battleground, but there's a couple other things I want to talk about. And listen, it wouldn't be me and it wouldn't be you if there wasn't some controversy involved. Now, Vito, I remember the last thing on the show. Bro, listen, Vito, I'm a big karma guy, bro. I believe what goes around comes around. I'm a big karma guy. Vito, are you a big karma guy?
I am one of the biggest karma guys around, for sure.
Well, Vito, I don't mean to boast. I don't mean to say I told you so, but I remember the last time we were together, okay? All I requested, bro, all I said was, Joey Styles, put Big Vito on the talent page. Just put Big Vito on the talent page. Let him get some bookings. Help a brother out. He busted his ass at the WWE. Joey Styles didn't put you on the talent page for WWE. What happened to Joey Styles, bro?
He's not around no more. Sorry, he lost his job.
Karma, Vito, karma. Now, bro, we got to wish karma on somebody else. Because, Vito, I told this story. I never told this story before. I told it just on Friday. I was telling the Disco Inferno about this bar mitzvah we did, bro. Would you care to comment on this bar mitzvah and what's going on with this bar mitzvah, bro, of almost 26 years ago? I want them to hear it from somebody other than me. You were there, bro. Please tell your side of the story.
It goes. A lot of people don't remember wrestling, successful wrestling show. We got a chance to do the Arena Club, and the Arena Club is in the Nassau Coliseum, where we get to do a live radio. We got to interview wrestlers at the time. At the time, I was doing independents, and I started doing TVs for the WWF. Popular in the circuit, and that was from John Arizzi first, and then Vince went off and doing his own thing, and then he included Jimmy the Mat Rat, and he included myself. We got to do some stuff. We did a couple bus trips, and we had a lot of fans. We had a good following, and there was this young lady, I don't remember her last name, along with her son, and they wanted us. They came on the bus trips. They used to come to radio shows. What they wanted to do was they asked Vince if we would do a bar mitzvah. Now, me, a Nazi, going to a Jewish bar mitzvah really didn't mesh too well, but a good camaraderie, and we were very friendly with the people, and they thought it would be a big kick. Now, the kid was a big fan. The mom was very nice, and she treated us well. We went to her house. We had lobster dinner. Vince handled all the negotiations for it, you know, like what kind of money we want. We were a bunch of nobodies who just having a good time doing the radio show, and we were all trying to make it in the business. Vince was a nobody. I was just getting my feet wet. You know, Vinny was just, you know, starting out in the business. You know, we both grew together. I mean, we went to the lady's house. We did the bar mitzvah. We had a great time. The lady offered us money to come and do it, you know, and we accepted. We didn't try to hustle anybody or do anything. I mean, and for the things that I heard lately, young man had to say, like 30 years later, I think it was kind of appalling. And if you really want to talk about, you know, doing stuff, I mean, I don't want to say things about your mom, kid, or what she was doing, but
yeah,
she really wasn't acting like a lady.
Yeah, don't say nothing about his mom, Vito, because she. Yeah, don't drag her into this. It's not her fault. Don't say nothing about the mom.
I mean, she was a nice lady. She had fun with us. She enjoyed our company, being around her. I mean, and to say like all these years later and be disrespectful to Vince, wrong. I didn't. Jimmy didn't. We were just having fun. And if you have when you're a kid, and the biggest thing you had going was a pro wrestler coming to your bar mitzvah, meaning the crowd of people there. What they weren't Jewish, they were German, they weren't German. What they liked was the way we presented ourselves, and we had a good time, and everybody left with a smile on their face.
Exactly, bro. We had a good time, and now 30 years later, this same little 13, 14-year-old Jewish boy is now Jim Cornette's co-host, calling me the P word, Vito, the P word. This little 13, 14-year-old kid, we went to his bar mitzvah, for crying out loud.
But you know what, Vin? You know, when people look back at things, it's like we always said, you know, if Mickey Mantle at a baseball game and you signed the ball, we weren't the Mickey Mantle, but we were the next best thing to come to his bar mitzvah. I mean, all you got to do is show some respect and be humble. With the guys or not, and whether other people have differences, you still remember your childhood and what good happened. And it wasn't a bad thing we did. It wasn't anything we did disrespectful. We just had a good time. Times turn. You know, let's get crazy, but what are you going to do?
Hey, Vito, let me ask you this, bro. When you go back to 1991 and we sat in that studio, bro, and we were so innocent and all we wanted to do was have a good time. There was no politics or no BS involved at that time. It was three guys just having a good time. The fact of the matter is, bro, we had no idea what we were going to get ourselves into for the next 20, 25 years. We had no idea, bro. We had dreams. We had ambitions. But, Skull, I got to tell you this, bro, and this is the God-honest truth. I want to get your take on it. We were so naive and we were so innocent that when I look back now on my entire career, bro, the Attitude Era, the ratings of the Attitude Era, all that stuff, bro, I swear to you, that time in that little studio, bro, in West Babylon, Long Island, when we were young and we were innocent and we had no idea what was in front of us, that was the best time I had in the wrestling business, bro. And I say that to everybody. That was the absolute best time I ever had in that studio with two guys that I knew were my friends, that knew had my back. We loved each other. We did it for the innocence and the love of it. And I got to tell you something, bro. It never got better than that for me. How do you feel about it?
Well, I would tell you one thing. You know, everybody forgets when they have, you know, when they come up. I don't care where you live or what you're doing in life. It's the hard times that are the good times. Struggling, we thought we were trying to make it. We were just having a good thing. It didn't start until we made it in the business. And that's when it got serious and the fun kind of went out of it. And then you had other things thrown at you like politics, a certain, you know, criteria, and ass kissing. You contest guys who have got butthurt of what kind of job they had. And when you lose that fun and you're not having a good time, that's what makes it a work. That's what makes it a job. And what we did, we had a good time at doing something we love to do. Times in Puerto Rico when I, you know, was struggling and we look back, talk to today, hey, Skull, those were the best times. When I was in Memphis and we were struggling, And we did the first Memphis Memory Show, working for Lawler and working for the USW. Hey, Scully, you remember those times? Good times. Those were the best times. And sometimes people take those times for granted until you look back and say, hey, bad, and I wish I had them back.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it got a lot harder from there. And, you know, let's face it, bro, we both went from there. We both made good money in the wrestling business. But, you know, I know me, for one, it aged me. It changed me. I never had that innocence again. And that's why I look back at our time at that little radio station. It was the best time I ever had in a wrestling career. Now, listen, bro, we're going to go over Battleground in a second. Let me tell you first, I got a new sponsor to the show, and I want everybody to listen up. Pro Wrestling Loot is the monthly pro wrestling mystery box that comes to you monthly filled with wrestling merchandise. This mystery box comes packed with autographed photos, action figures, t-shirts, and exclusive collectibles you won't find anywhere else. Sign up now at ProWrestlingLoot.com for just $19.99 monthly with no commitments. For all of you first-time subscribers that sign up now, you will save 10% off your first month's box using promo code Russo. So that's ProWrestlingLoot.com. Use the promo code Russo, R-U-S-S-O. If you want the hottest wrestling items spanning through all eras of wrestling, my favorite, as you know, being the Attitude Era, then Pro Wrestling Loot is for you. From legends and Hall of Famers to the biggest indie stars, and hell, even Vince Russo was included in a Pro Wrestling Loot mystery box. So head on over to ProWrestlingLoot.com now, and remember, save 10% off your first box by using promo code Russo. Again, that's ProWrestlingLoot.com. Also follow them on Twitter at Wrestling Loot. All right, Vito, let's talk a little bit about tonight's Battleground pay-per-view. Listen, I'm going to make this simple. I'm going to give my overall assessment up front, and I'm going to make it simple. This is my opinion. This is my view on the WWE and the shows they produce as a whole, coming from somebody who used to produce these same shows. I want to say this first and foremost. One of the reasons I was always so proud to be in the wrestling business, and Vito will be able to tell you, it's because of the work ethic of all the men and women I worked with. The majority of wrestlers are blue-collar guys, and when I tell you whether there's 50 people or 50,000 people, it doesn't matter. The work ethic of a wrestler, I've seen nothing like it in any other job I ever had in my life. That's why I have such a respect for them. That work ethic is still there today. These guys are working as hard today as they did during the early WrestleMania days, the Attitude Era, WCW, Monday Night Show. They're working just as hard today. Here's the problem for me. When you eliminate characters and when you eliminate storylines, all you have are choreographed wrestling matches. And that's not me. That's not why I became a fan. I am not interested in that. I'm interested in compelling characters. Now you put those compelling characters together in compelling storylines. Now you have a match that means something, rather than put matches out there one after another with no characters, no story, no background, no nothing, 50-50 booking. And that is why I feel they've lost a great percentage of their casual fans. When I look at tonight's show, my comment after every freaking match is, what's the angle? What's the angle? What's the angle? You can look at every match on this card tonight. What's the angle? The first match was the Usos against New Day. My comments on this match were this simple. Bro, I felt there were so many false finishes in this match, and especially for the first match of the evening. When you write a wrestling show, you're supposed to crescendo the show. You're supposed to build it to the finale. When you're having 12 false finishes in the first match, pardon my expression, you're kind of already blowing your load. And I got to tell you something, bro. There was one spot in there where I think it was Jimmy. He kicked Xavier Woods as he came off the rope. Bro, that looked like it would have freaking killed a man as a shoot. And, of course, Xavier Woods kicked out of it like it was nothing. I wonder, bro, seriously, this is one of the things, Skull, I think they should incorporate at the training facility. Kick guys square in the face and let them see what that feels like. Because if somebody kicks you square in the face, you're not getting back up. And that spot looks so good. He caught him good. It looked good. And freaking Xavier Woods kicked out, which later on in the night, when you're looking at Kevin Owens and you're looking at AJ Styles and you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, Xavier Woods got kicked flush in the face and he cooked out. AJ can't kick out of that? That's what they're not looking at, bro. That's where they lose their credibility. But overall, the guys worked their butts off, bro. It was an exciting match, but I felt, no angle, too many false finishes. And, bro, like I said, that one kick to the face should have ended the match. What did you think, Vito?
Well, I tell you what, I thought it was a good opening match. The guys worked great tag team stuff together. They're working in and out. The Usos are over as heels, which is great. The New Day are over as faces, so at least we have that concept. Like you said, a lot of false finishes, and how do you top it? And you hit the nail on the head, because when you went to the AJ Styles match, I thought that match was a great match. I thought it was one of the worst matches I ever seen AJ Styles have. And I watch, and I think performer. I think Kevin Owens is a good performer. But being like you said, you started off like that. How do you follow it? That match set the tone to, okay, what are we going to do? Card kind of shriveled down as it went on during the night.
Yeah, and like I said, bro, why am I hearing myself now? Did you change something there, Skull?
No, I didn't do nothing.
Okay. Here's what I said. This is why I said the false finishes in the first match with that one spot that looked tremendous. It kind of freaking buried AJ when he couldn't kick out of that one little roll up. And, you got to protect you guys. Skull, I want to ask you this, bro. Nakamura, Baron Corbin. I like both guys. I like Baron Corbin. I like Baron Corbin's look. But Baron Corbin, bro, was very, very sloppy in this match. Vito, I got to ask you this question as a worker, bro, because I don't like to step between the ropes, because that's not what I do. But, bro, everybody carries on about what a great worker Nakamura is. He's a great worker. Everybody marks out for Nakamura. Skull, is part of being a great worker making your opponent look good as well? Because you know what? Maybe they were at a completely different skill level in this match, Nakamura being up here and Corbin being here. But, I mean, Corbin was really exposed and he looked really sloppy. Now, if Nakamura is the worker that everybody thinks he is, bro, is it his responsibility to bring Corbin up to his level?
You are absolutely right when you say that, because Nakamura, I have my thoughts on him personally for me. And I mean, he has this entrance, but for all the strong style and all the hype that he came with, he hasn't shown it in WWE. The Corbin kid, they gave him the money in the bank, and they're trying to push him as a heel. Good matches with certain guys. I think he works good with AJ Styles. I think he works good with the Sami Zayns, guys who can move. And if you're not a mover and a shaker and baker in there, like a worker to put the guy over. I mean, Nakamura tried to sell his stuff, but it was a slugfest. So both guys trying to do the same style, so nobody had an up down. And then when you had the finish, You knew they weren't going to bury the Corbin kid, but they weren't going to pin Nakamura either. And I thought the finish was that he hit him with a low blow. The guy should have took the Money in the Bank suitcase and cracked him across the head. It was good that they gave Corbin the heat afterwards, but I think a different finish to emphasize that he's the Money in the Bank winner, to use the case. That's what it's there for. As far as Nakamura bringing him up to par, tough match because both of them are sluggers. Environment, it wasn't where you could do high spots, and kind of lost in the shuffle. I think it was a 1-off. I don't think them guys are going to go anymore. I mean, Corbin is projected to go to SummerSlam, try to cash in the bank. And as far as Nakamura goes, I don't know where he goes from there. There's no direction with him.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, the next match we had was the girls, the 5-way elimination match. I mean, Skull, I don't have too much to say about this. Bro, they talked about this women's revolution, and they were bringing all these great workers up from NXT, and girls aren't allowed to be sexy anymore. They got to be great wrestlers, and yada, 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 yada. And all they do, bro, week after week after week is it's an 8-women tag. It's a 5-women elimination match. I mean, all they do is cram all these girls in one match. Again, bro, there are no angles. There are no personal issues. There are no – what are the characters? Natalya is Neidhart's kid. Okay, I get it. Charlotte is Flair's kid. I get it. That's it. Like, what are their characters? What motivates these people? Why are they mad at each other? Why do they want to fight? All they do is they take all these girls and throw them in the same ring at once, and there's nothing to see anymore. I mean, I know me personally, I feel like I've seen it all with these girls. They're not highlighting anybody. They're not getting anybody over. Win one, lose one, win one, lose one. It just lost my interest. I mean, what do you think about this, Vito?
Tonight's match, okay, I will say one thing. I'm going to start this off by worked hard. I mean, and she did a lot. I mean, that kid, I know she's Snooker's daughter, and she gets lost in the shuffle, just like you said, but nobody's giving her a legit run. You got kid, she's the best athlete of them all, and probably the best, one of the best workers there, and she has gotten lost in the shuffle, and she doesn't have no direction.
Vito, who is that, Charlotte? Because you cut out. Who is it? Who'd you just say?
Charlotte doesn't have any direction at all. She's a good all-around performer. I think she's very solid, but they put her in, they just drop her in the middle. They gave her a little run, then they stop. They give her a little push, then they stop. The girl Lana, she's just as a fluff piece. She's the only one who tries to have a character, but she's horrible in the ring, so she doesn't make sense. Naomi is a great athlete, and she has some persona. She has a great entrance, and from the Funkadactyls, take that out of there. They're just not pushing anybody to the top, and they're not anybody, and they're putting everybody in the same kind of mix, like you're saying, so nobody's showcasing anything. And even on Raw, if you watch the girls' match, it's supposed to be a girls' revolution. Tag team, everything is doubles and triples. Nia Jack girl on there, she should be steamrolling through the whole division. And you got these skinny little girls trying to knock her down. Nobody should be knocking her down. But Tamina, I think she, out of everybody, she needs to have some kind of manager, something, direction, be really vicious and give her a good little run. Natalya, 8 years, she's a good all-around wrestler. She knows her craft. Okay, she was the only one who hasn't gotten a title shot yet. Yeah, she's going to go see SummerSlam. Where do you go with the division? You're going to wait for Carmella to come with the Money in the Bank. Okay, we're going to wait for it. You're going to see the Ellsworth kid who has no more business in there. He was a bit player, got her over. The girl can work. The girl can do things. Now they don't need him no more. So now we have to see where Carmella's going to go, and then it's going to start all over again. But like you said, Becky Lynch doesn't have a spot, doesn't have a sign. They're kind of in limbo program for them to go with.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, man, and they've done this a lot, bro. They've done this with a lot of people where they're at the cusp of having a star, and then they get to a point of not knowing what to do with them, and they pull them back down to the pack. They did that with Charlotte. Charlotte was a superstar on her own. With the minute she came out that curtain, bro, you knew she was somebody. She was a star. She shone above the rest of them. And now she's in there selling, they're kicking the crap out of her. They pulled her down, and now she's at an even playing field with everybody else. And quite frankly, in my opinion, nobody is over. And you're right, bro. They do the same exact thing with the girls on freaking Raw. But, it is what it is, bro. Then we go to AJ and Owens. And, again, bro, like, I'm not the guy that's interested in the great match. And, this is a match that the marks would love because it's AJ and Owens. I feel like I've seen the match a million times before. So, I mean, I have one eye on the baseball game, one eye on my computer. But that finish was freaking kabuki-ish, bro. I don't know what they were trying to do. It looked like AJ's shoulder was clearly up, but AJ wasn't even arguing that his shoulder was up. I don't know what that finish was. And like I said, bro, it was especially bad because of all the false finishes in the first match that AJ couldn't kick out of that. He didn't look like he was in any trouble. He didn't look like he was struggling. So then I'm saying, okay, his shoulder was clearly up. The ref missed it because that was the story. The ref took a bump and he was in la-la land, but then AJ never argued with the ref that his shoulder was. So I don't know what that was, bro. Did I miss something?
What you missed was they didn't want to try and bury AJ and they didn't want to bury Owens. The same thing like in the Nakamura match with Corbin. So what they did was they tried to come up with a funky finish to where it made it look like it. But like you said, AJ Styles never argued the point of his shoulder being up. Now, when Owens was with Jericho, he was on a different playing field because he had Jericho's star power. And then once he got off that, just this mid-card, upper mid-card guy. AJ Styles, when they had him on the platform of being the heavyweight champ, and he went with Cena, and, he beat Cena. He legitimized himself. I know AJ is your boy. You like him very much. You're very fond of him. They just took a little bit out of him, and they took a little star power out of him, and they're not letting him perform enough mic time. They're not letting him be that heel again. They're trying to turn guys babyface who should be heels, who should be baby faces, and they're trying to do it too quick. Instead of letting it sit, it's just like the title back and forth. If you don't legitimize the title and let the guy keep it and run with it, you're not going to have no interest in the storyline where these up-and-comers are going to come and give a good match. The only guy that's doing anything legitimate like that is Brock Lesnar, and they're saving him for WrestleMania. I don't know who they're going to put in there with. They got Samoa Joe, who had a good wrestling match with him. They have Braun Strowman. They have a couple of Roman Reigns everybody's hating. They want to see the Shield get back together. But the concept of the thing is they need to establish guys as steadies. They need to have some kind of character. They need to have babyface and heels and stay with their strong suit. And I think it's just wishy-washy. And AJ Styles is not a babyface. He's a bona fide heel. And when he's healing and he's on target, for him to lose because he gets it right back. When he's a babyface, like you said, and he's not fighting because his shoulder's up, kind of foolish. And that's not to take away from him. I guess maybe he had a little blip in the computer, or maybe it wasn't programmed to him from the agents. You really don't know what's going on.
All right, before we get to the flag match, I want to tell you about the new Podcast One app is up and it is ready to rock and roll. A lot of work was put into this new Podcast One app. Check it out, everybody. Find out about your favorite shows and get more content for my show. Find articles, social media episodes, and make playlists. It's easy to comment and connect with other show fans. We have our own little community on there. Share your favorite content, see behind the scenes photos, get 360 video, or watch a bunch of shows in virtual reality. There's over 1,000 videos on there right now. It's like you're in the studio. It looks so cool with so many things you can do, including fun things like rewards for listening. There is no other podcast app like this. Download the all-new Podcast One app now in the App Store or on Google Play. Okay, Sko, we had the Cena-Rusev flag match. Hey, bro, I want to ask you this because I wasn't really watching the WWE during the Big Vito days because I was really busy working at TNA and everything. Bro, did you work Cena while you were at WWE?
Never worked Cena at all.
You never worked him at all,
Never
bro?
did.
You never crossed paths with Cena?
Nope. Just
Bro,
when we were dead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
What?
What were you saying? Go ahead. Finish your thought.
They never put me in that position. They saw I could work, and they put me with Hotty. They put me in a bunch of good matches, but they never gave me that steamroll to go through to be with the top guys. And being with Nunzio and doing my thing, that's when they got tired of the FBI, and then they wanted to switch gimmicks, and they came up with the dress gimmick. And you know how it is when they give you something, you either take it or they fire you, or they don't come up with nothing else for you. So you take it and work with it. It made that dress gimmick shine even more because you don't know how to do something. You have to be creative on the spot. And for all the years that I was a heel and wishing that I had a baby face to sell, I knew how to sell and knew what I wanted to do. It's tough up there, and it's tough. You being the head guy like you were in WCW when you were running the controls, and even in the WWF back in the day. You have so much talent. You try to do so many things. You overlook somebody. Sometimes you miss something. Sometimes you catch it too late. I mean,
Vito, how was he in the back? I mean, how, crossing paths with him, talking to him? What kind of a guy? I've never met John Cena, bro. He's like the only one in the business I've never met. What kind of a guy was he?
He's kind of quiet to himself, hey, how you doing? Hello. He kept to himself, dressed by himself. He was, his own guy. He did his own thing. He only messed with certain people, very few people. That's the way it was back then, and when you remember when the WWF days, like in the 90s when I broke in back there, and Hogan had his own dressing room, the Ultimate Warrior had his dressing room.
Yeah.
Hart and everybody. Same way, not as elaborate. Not everybody had a star on their door, and they didn't have to find 50 dressing rooms. Everybody just made their little niche somewhere. That's the best way to explain it.
Bro, who did you hang with back then when you were at the WWE, bro? Like, who were some of the buddies that you rode with and you hung with back then?
I traveled a lot with Batista, me and Nunzio, Sylvan, The Miz. There was a group of us who used to go to the gym every morning with Chavo and Rey Mysterio and Benoit and Eddie Guerrero and Nuns and myself. The Hardys used to come down with us once in a while. It's a good group of guys, and you did your thing. It was respectful for me, and I had respect for them, and it was the last of the time of the bully era, where young guys coming in, they didn't know how to act. You had JBL, you had, all the Bob Hollies, the Takers, and all the guys who upkept the business because that's the way it was supposed to be. With a last of the sheriffs in town. You know, now today's business in the society of the wrestling is there's no more sheriffs to teach the guys. And I think that's what we miss in today's wrestling.
Yeah. Hey, Vito, let's talk about this flag match. Both these guys busted their backside. It was entertaining. But as I'm watching this, bro, like I'm thinking, bro, and maybe you know, but I don't. Bro, has in the history of wrestling, has an American ever lost a flag match, bro? I don't think I've ever seen an American lose a flag match, ever.
I think if you're really going to go to the flag matches, and really you got to go to the Saudis and Iron Sheik days, to where like there might have been a possibility, the Jim Duggan days. But you know, you're in Philadelphia, home of the land, you know, home of the free. If Rocky Balboa was losing that match, it was a hard match. It was a different concept of a match. You know, and both guys worked hard. Can't take away. I got to tell you something, and this is legit. Be world champion. He's the most legit guy they got in that friggin' locker room, and they don't use him for his full potential. He should have a belt around his waist. He's legit, and when he's on a roll and they're pushing him, he's the Ludwig Borger of our time. Went 2 or 3 years without losing ever. Close. And the way they use him today, he's a gimmick, not something. He's got a body. He looks like a wrestler. He acts like a wrestler. He can wrestle. They missed the boat on him, and it's sad.
Vito, who are you talking about? Because you went in now. You talking about Cena or Rusev?
Rusev.
Yo, bro, Vito, he was right there. They had him right there, bro. Right freaking there. And he's one of those guys, bro. Like I said, like Charlotte, they're right there. Bona fide star, dollar signs all over them. Bro, I think they get them to a point and they don't know how to nudge them over the top. So rather than go forward, they start coming down. Bro, when he had Lana, he was right freaking there, bro. They dropped the ball on this guy. Now he's another name on the card.
He was something special, and I said, man, that's my guy. He was the Skull Von Crush of this era. German gimmick doing that now, and you can have something like that, being believable, being legit, talking the language. Yeah. I look at him and I'm like, man, oh man, he could make money, and they just don't use him good. They just don't use him. He's a gimmick.
Hey, you know what, though, Vito? When you look at it, bro, let's be honest, bro. Who do they really use good? You know, like you just said, they don't use them good. Bro, who do they use good? I mean, seriously. Bro, name one guy. The only, aside from Lesnar, I mean, he's the main attraction. God, even Cena, I think there could be an argument with Cena that they're not using him well. I would say right now, bro, in my opinion, the only one they're really booking smart and using well and being careful with is Strowman. Outside of Strowman, who are they using well?
And they aren't using anybody. And another guy they dropped is Bray Wyatt. There's a guy. His clan and kept everything. Talk about a guy who had superstar written all over it, and every time he starts to get a couple wins and he gets some momentum, they bring him down and yank him down. And he should have been the guy to beat The Undertaker. He should never have lost his pie. He should have expanded his group. He had a great program with Orton when he finally won the title, and they thought he was going to go on, and they stripped him of the title. And I'm like, I thought they were going to add him back and make the Wyatts again. He didn't need to lose that title. There's no reason for it. He should have been the guy to beat The Undertaker and go on to be the next.
Oh, yeah, Vito, because I say this all the time, bro. There is no reason in the world that if he was booked correctly, right now Bray Wyatt should be at Undertaker status. No doubt about it, bro. No doubt about it. This is probably the guy they have absolutely booked the worst with the raw freaking talent. The guy's got so much talent and they don't know what to do with it. That was always my challenge, bro, as a writer. When I'm writing for guys like Rock and Austin and HBK and, you know, Bret Hart and guys like this, I've got to write up to their talent. You know, my writing has to be as good as their talent, bro. Otherwise, I'm going to drag them down if I'm giving them crap. That's exactly what they did to Bray, bro. He's too good. He has too much. He has more talent than the writers have. They don't know how to write for him, bro. That's the problem.
Nope, they do not. You know, it's like when they had, remember when they had the Boogeyman there?
Yeah.
The Worms, and he had a great gimmick and everything. And he'd scare people. Warrior type. You only let him wrestle for a couple minutes, where everybody knows he's going to come do something. You try to be creative for him to get the Worms or do something with Worms. But even that, they let that go. And that was one of the best gimmicks they came out with, where it was original. They did something good. It was, you know, it kept your attention. And Bray Wyatt falls into that situation where they fail to keep your attention with him. When you have kids singing that song, the lights go out and you hear the music, you got them. You know what you got to do is raise your little finger and you got the crowd, and he's got that magic. And when people lose that and the writers don't know how to write, it's sad, because the guy could work Flair and Funk together. He still ain't getting it because the writers ain't writing for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's sad. It is sad.
Bro, you know what was the most cringeworthy thing on this show to me, bro? And this is in the writing, bro. This is in the writing, and this is in the execution. They did that Fashion Police skit, right? And then they came back. Then they came back to an on-camera with the freaking announcers. And because the skit was, because it's corny, bro, and because it's comedy, they come back with an on camera, and they want the announcers to sell it and get it over. And the announcers were almost laughing at it. They actually were laughing at it, bro. And I'm saying to myself, you did not have to write it that way, because there's no way the announcers were going to get that over. Like one of them said, oh, that was terrifying, or this, that, and the other. It was horrible, bro. They shouldn't have went to an on camera. They should have went to Fashion Police, do that bit, come back to a package, then go to an on camera if they wanted. But the fact that they did that piece of business and they went to an on camera to get the reaction of the announcers, JBL is almost laughing. None of them are taking it seriously, but they're trying to put it over as it was freaking horrible, bro. That's again, that's just a pet peeve of mine, because it's the writing of the show. Here's another thing, Vito. The next match, they got that Mike Kanellis and Sami Zayn. Bro, this is exactly what we're talking about the 50-50 booking. Okay, on SmackDown, Kanellis, you know, his first match on SmackDown, he beats Zayn. He's a new face. He's got a new little package with his wife, had a little exposure at TNA. Now, boom, the second match, they put Sami Zayn over him. So at the end of the day, who's over? Who's over? We just had two matches. We had a TV. We had the pay-per-view or the big show. Who's over after that? Nobody's freaking over. Nobody's over. And, bro, that's the problem. When you eliminate characters and you eliminate storylines, you only have wins and losses. And if you keep shuffling the wins and losses, nobody's going to get over. Why the freak would they beat this guy his second match? Well, what, they're going to give Sami Zayn the big push now? That's the problem, bro. Yeah, Vito.
And much, which was good. Now, you were talking about having character, but they didn't let the guy go through with the character and get the win on a screw job finish using the girl. Even if the girl would have took a bump and the guy ran out of there, picked up his girl and left and kissed her and hugged her and carried her to the back, That would have been better than the Sami Zayn thing. He made that, and like a gets and you're gonna have this lovey-dovey couple who just signed, who just got on TV, and you're not gonna give them the push. They did the same thing with a guy with the guitar. What's his name?
Yeah. Samson, Elias Samson, who's got a great look. He's got a great look, bro.
Great look, Elias Samson. What did that match? He got from the gate, the mid card. So with the Canellis girl, and he got this, where did you see them wind up splitting up? You're gonna see the guy doesn't have that kind of power to be by himself. He just be relevant, and if you just take away the girl, he's just another guy. Just those filler matches, they could have let the guy go over to keep some steam, staying over because they felt they owed him a win. But it was a filler match, nothing to get upset about. Both on SmackDown doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Skull. I mean, this isn't freaking rocket science, man. A new guy comes in. It was done this way from the beginning of the time. You get him over, you get him over, you get him over, you get him over till he finally means something. Then you put him in that match against a Mr. Perfect or somebody on that level. Then he gets over there. Now all of a sudden, holy crap, this guy is somebody. But it's like you said, bro, the formula is the same. They're beating these guys in their second match. They're beating them. Second match, beating them. Elias Sampson beating them. Mike Kanellis beating them. I don't. Vince knows the freaking formula, bro. He put the formula into play for decades and decades and decades. You get them on a roll, bro. You get them on a roll. You get them over. Then you increase the opponent. You get him over that opponent. Then all of a sudden he's ready for your freaking champion. I mean, my God, but like you said, bro, okay, this guy's a big superstar, all the hoopla, all the this, all of that. They're beating him in a second match. He can't be that good.
But you know what they're doing right now? Remember the format you used to have in WCW? 2 matches in an interview, 2 matches in an interview, 2 matches in an interview. That's the concept that they're missing today, because when you look at it, there's no continuity. You go back to the announcers, and sometimes the announcers are off on their own track. But if you keep the thing going and you have a good flow with the announcers in the background, we have an interview. We have 2 matches. We have an interview. And we keep that flow going through the show. That works. That's entertaining because you're keeping everybody relevant. When you go back to spend 5 minutes with the announcers, you're not getting anybody over but the announcers. And when your main thing is to get people TV time, that's where you want to spend your TV time, in the interviews with the guys who are performing and guys who need that TV time. Even if it's just a promo to keep their face relevant.
Yep, absolutely, bro. Okay, finally the main event, Orton and Jinder, who I'm a big fan of, in the Punjabi prison. First of all, bro, I had never seen this before. I'd not seen this match before. I thought it was an awesome freaking visual. I thought that cage looked awesome. Nobody else could pull that off but the WWE, bro. I can't imagine them trying to put together a structure like that when I was at TNA, but unbelievable structure. It looked like $1 million. The guys worked their asses off. Bro, the only thing I didn't like, I'll be honest with you, but I understand why they did it. I didn't like them using his 2 jabronis, because his 2 jabronis were the reason why Orton lost in the first 2 matches. So now they're bringing it back in this Punjabi prison so those guys can't get freaking involved. And here they are getting involved again. They run to the mat. I know why they did it, bro. They did it so that one guy could take the big bump. That's why they wanted to do it, to get that spot in. But I kind of feel it killed the freaking intent of the match. The Punjabi prison was supposed to keep those guys out. Now, if you just would have had a Jinder and Orton, and you do the same finish with the Great Khali at the end, you right there.
It's a win.
So like, yeah. So like, I don't think we would have lost anything if that little jabron didn't go through the freaking announce table. Okay, bro, it was a great spot. Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. But it killed the freaking match, bro. That was the whole idea of the jail. And they didn't need it because Kali was the surprise at the end. So like I said, I know why they did it. I don't think they needed it. What did you think, Skull?
Having those two guys interfere on the matches all the time, take away from the champion himself and him being a badass guy, because it just looks like he has the two fluff guys on the outside, picking him up, helping him climb. That guy is a masterpiece of a body. He's got the look.
Right.
Defending himself. Now, if the two guys ran in the back, like you said, and they running comes right after them, and say if they did a spot where and they're shaking, the two guys go climbing up, the one guy over, the other guy takes a side of the thing. So you have one inside, one outside. You have Ginger driving and doing it himself. When you have the help every week of a legitimate, tough, badass guy, champion, from the championship, it takes away from the person. He's got a great gimmick. They're investing a lot of money in what he's doing. They're giving him the push of a lifetime. You need to back those guys up because they're not justifying who he is and the push.
Well, you know what it is, Skull? Here's what it is, bro. It's Vince McMahon wanting Jinder Mahal to be a chicken shit heel, but he's the wrong freaking guy, bro. Jinder Mahal looks like he could beat up the entire roster, bro. It's like you said, he looks like a movie star. He's got the money body. He doesn't need these jabrones. But again, this is Vince McMahon's mentality. He's a heel. He's got to cheat to win. No, bro, maybe in 1985. But not now. That guy does not need that crap. If you got a smaller guy, you know, yeah, I get it, bro. If you got a guy like a Jeff Jarrett or somebody. But this guy looks like he can legitimately beat people up. He looks like if he got into a bar fight, he wouldn't run away from freaking anybody. But, you know, Vince, you're the baby face or the heel. AJ's the heel, I mean the baby face, so he's not going to argue that his shoulder was up, so it's going to look kabuki-ish to everybody at home, and everybody's going to be scratching their head because Jinder's the heel. Why does he need these two little freaking jabronis to bite his saddle? But that's the baby face and the freaking heel concept that does not work today, bro.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think great entrance. He comes in. He should be kicking. I mean, the two guys should be standing there. If they try to interfere, take the bumps on the outside. Okay, you take a bump, not to help him, you know, screw the guy over, but let them take their two bumps. Managers are supposed to do one thing in the match. When you make the move, it's either to do or you're doing it or you're taking a bump. If you get involved too much, you're taking away from who's in the ring for what's going on outside the ring. But the focus should be on the inside. The spotlight right now should be on, as the champion, be this badass guy who's a foreigner, who can do things, make you hate America. They're missing it just with the two comedy things and the big bumps on the outside.
Yeah, I agree. Bro, I had to laugh. I thought there was a funny spot. There was a funny spot in that match when Orton was, you know, he's outside of the I think the first level or whatever. And I guess, you know, I guess he got, his arm hard weighed. And did you hear that, bro, when he turned around to the cameraman? He goes, "Are you getting that color? Yeah, you better be." I popped huge. I thought that was hysterical. But there was also a mishap, too, where freaking during the match, Jinder clearly asked Orton if he was okay. It's like, bro, you gotta. I mean, it was so blatantly obvious, you know. But I like this kid, bro. I like this kid. I got to tell you something too, Skull. I don't think they've booked him correctly since he won that belt. I don't think they've built him as strongly as they could have built him since he won this title. I don't know, bro. I don't know if Vince McMahon just forgot the formula. I don't know if he's getting old. I don't know what it is, bro, but it's like it's not that difficult, man.
I just think that like everybody expects something, and like, you know, you really don't know who's running the controls back there. You have an idea who it's one guy still running the controls, but there's got to be a collective because they have 15 writers who are assistant to the assistants to be able to make sense and come say, hey, this is the way it was back in the old days. If you're going to have a farm, you need to work them as a point like the Ivan Koloff days where he did everybody in. And when he came to Bruno and he broke Bruno's neck, the heat for a while. They're already talking about taking the belt off this kid.
Yep.
They should find him for past SummerSlam, going into what's the Thanksgiving one?
Survivor Series.
Have it until Survivor Series. Because if they take it off him now, all this money and all this, you know, all the money they spent on it is going to be wasted.
Yeah, I agree, bro. I agree. I was thrilled when they put it on him. I thought they had money with him, but I kept saying if they book him correctly, if they book him correctly, if they book him correctly, man, I really think they have something with this guy. But they're pushing the Money in the Bank winners, and I think they make them cash their banks in too soon. To cash it. They should have it for a few months and tease it every now and then, even on house shows. You know, come out to tease and then run back. What's to say that you can't do a mix? Money in the Bank, and if you're on SmackDown, how about go to Raw and run out there and then go back? There's no law that says you can't go cash it in on a different program. Yeah, you know what part of that is? You know what part of that is too, Vito, that I'd love to see, bro. I always thought this is such like I hate when wrestling insults the intelligence of the audience. I mean, I just hate that, and they do that a lot. One thing I hate, bro, is that the guy carries the suitcase around with him everywhere. You know what would be better, bro? Exactly what you just said. If he doesn't cash it in right away, they don't give the guy the stupid suitcase to walk around with, and you forget about it. You know what I mean, bro? You freaking forget about it. It's not in your face every 5 seconds. All of a sudden, 10 months down the road, here comes Baron Corbin. You forgot all about it. But the fact that he comes, bringing the case, I just wish they would try some things freaking differently, bro. That's all. I would just love to see them try some things differently.
Another two guys who they missed the boat on, and it really gets me upset. They had the Enzo and Kaz kid, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, their gimmick, they had gimmick. They got the crowd incorporate gimmick in the match, you know, the soft thing while he's dropping the big elbow, a Statue of Liberty standing suplex. There's so many things that go through my mind, but nobody takes the time to work with these guys in the ring to develop their tag team and give them these ideas, and they expect the talent to come up with them. And when these guys were with Cena and they had that program with Cena, that was the time for them to get the belts, because that was when they were at the height. They were with the champ, with the best guy in the business, the top guy, because of backstage politics, attitude, who don't like you. That's when they started to job them out. Now this kid Kaz, he's 7 feet tall. He works like he's 6 feet tall. Nobody taught him how to work like a big man. The guy Enzo is a great mouthpiece. Up to par where they could put him somewhere. I could see him being an announcer, going to cruiserweights, big time player, and doing anything. That kid Kaz is too green and too raw to go on a singles run, and Big Show will do him the favor as he go. I don't see him being a Brock Lesnar thing, and his promos are too soft. I think I could be the Universal. No, it's I'm going to be the next Universal Champion. I'm the baddest jammer in the building. I can beat up anybody here. I'm the man to take that belt from Brock Lesnar. He ain't man enough to step to me. He's booked because everybody says, he only works part-time. When he brings his part-time ass here, I'm the next guy in line. I want him. Now you're talking.
Yeah. Yeah, bro, it's just funny to me because it's like, bro, they go through this whole NXT process, and then by the time they get to the WWE, they're still green. You would think, bro, they would take some WWE guys that are veterans but aren't utilized or lower card, let them go work NXT with these guys. But it's exactly what you said, bro. They go through this whole process at NXT with all these freaking trainers, and then they come up, and this guy's green, and that guy's green, and this guy's green, and Baron Corbin's green. And how are they still green after that freaking process, bro? And if they are green, why are they bringing them up to the next level?
All right, I'm going to explain it to you, okay? When they go, NXT is a very successful venue, okay? And they're like a cult following, okay? When I was in ECW, we had the crowds, we had the people, small arenas, compact, everybody into the gimmicks. You wrestled in indie style of wrestling. NXT wrestles an indie style of wrestling. That style change to go to the big screen, you go into the WWE screen. When you're up in the WWE screen, they style again to conform to the TV. Seasoned like an AJ Styles, a Samoa Joe, guys who have that kind of pedigree can make the switch over, even like a Kevin Owens. Was wrestling in an indie called NXT. But when they get to the WWE main roster, they have to change things and take away the things that got them over and made them successful in NXT. Nakamura, they let him do a strong style in NXT. They haven't let him do this strong style that you're hearing about it up on the main roster. I never watched the NXT and never was a fan of it. I heard a lot about it, but when these guys come up, I'm like, they're the bomb and everybody's talking about it. And NXT sells out every arena where they go doing the business over there. But when you look at the other concept, the guard, and you have to change and change and change. It's new asses, new faces, ticks, new set of rules. 101.
Yeah, that's it, bro. All right, Vito, let me tell you real quick, and then we're going to wrap it up. But let me tell people to remember to go to Podcast One to find all the great sponsors of Vince Russo's The Brand. Because of them, I can bring you the brand each week with limited ads at no additional cost to you. If you heard a sponsor that you want to try out or forgot a sponsor and want to see a list, you can access them by clicking on the Killer Deals button at podcastone.com and visiting Vince Russo's The Brand page. We only approve sponsors who make sense for our audience, and each of our sponsors are listed there with the banners linked to the promotional deal and the promos listed by the brands. Everything you need easily accessible in one place. So thanks to our sponsors and thanks to all of you for supporting them. In addition, Vince Russo's The Brand is a participant in the Amazon Associates Program, an affiliate advertising program designed to provide a means for me to earn fees by linking to Amazon.com and affiliated sites. You can link to Amazon at podcastone.com. All right, Vito LaGrasso, thanks for joining me. Thanks for going over Battleground. I hope, bro, there's some talks going on about you coming on more often and being a little bit of a mainstay here on the brand. What do you think about that?
Good. I think it would be a great thing for you and I. The fans would like it. I know I've been out of the wrestling scene for a little bit. I know people have been asking me to do some things and do a podcast, and this would be a great place to start because this is where if you're going to have me, I'm on board.
Yeah, there were a little technical interviews, Vito. Like your mic kept cutting in and out, which kind of sucked, bro, because I was really listening to what you had to say, and I wanted to hear everything, and I wanted, you know, the audience listening to this show to get every word. But a couple times you were cutting in and out. We're gonna have to work on that, and I apologize, you know, for that. It's the first time Vito and I have hooked up for a long time. So hopefully the next time we do a show together, we will clear that up. But Vito, again, bro, thanks for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. I hope to have you on very soon.
Hey, listen, I got one thing to say to people out there, and it needs to be said. Russo for a long time. And when you're friends with somebody, friends, and through thick and thin, whether you talk or you don't talk, you always stand by your friends. And when he was in the WWF, a lot of people don't know. It's like, you know, I used to tell them things to do and how to get along, and people don't know that. And you know, it's none of nobody's business, but it's time people know. You know, I helped this guy. Tough times, he always called me. Got my chance in WCW because he says, okay, I'm in charge. I never took his back, and I always watched his back. And I was sharing a dressing room with Hogan that day on the famous Bash at the Beach. Things where guys were mad at Vinny and the guys, you know, wanted to fight him. I was always around the corner. Up everybody, but I wasn't letting my friend get his tail kicked in. When he went to TNA and he brought me in and then he left, I could and I got over. And then as soon as we started to get over, things changed. Seen this in WCW. People, you know, feel to recognize this, talking about something, and 20 years of busting a guy's balls about ratings, about what he said, she said, whatever. And you're still complaining and talking. When does the bullshit stop? If you were that tough, kick my ass back then when you seen me, and then you're still talking about it today. Wrestling, I wish would stop. You know what? Okay, so everybody wants to make a living. Everybody wants to be the voice. You got beef with somebody, don't take it out in public. Settle it behind closed doors like men. You know, you want to rant on somebody, Vince Russo this, Vince Russo that. If Vince Russo was that much person and bad for business, get your ratings up to give you some relevance. He goes through. I hate the stuff that people say about him. Not all of it's true. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but I can tell you one thing. You get tired of being bashed for 20-something years. It gets old, people. And you know what? When you look at the old WCW stuff, it wasn't that awful. And if people would have just let Vinny do his job, maybe WCW would still be open. Same thing with TNA. Say, oh, Vinny did this, Vinny did that, Vinny did the other thing. You know what? The company was open and he had a job for so many years. But then again, you have the WCW mentality where too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Talk about the Attitude Era. It wasn't an easy thing for him to go from the magazine position to go to do Right TV with Vince. Not everybody knows the steps, the politics, and the cutthroatness that went along with it. Because I experienced it with him, and I suffered along with it. And if you people don't think I suffered, I should have been in the WWF to 93, 94. And because of jealousy, because of nonsense, because of bullshit, I took the brunt of things. And I said, okay, no problem. I just keep doing my thing. I'm never going to give up. This man here, he used to tell me, Vito, what do you think about? I said, I'm not quitting, man. I'll never quit. I'm going to make it. I'm going to stick with this. I wound up sticking with it, and I did it on my own. Help from people. Well, once those people give you the help, you have to have the talent to go and do it. believe in you. And what people don't realize is no matter how many chances you get, on every chance, or else you ain't never going to have a job. Writer for all the big companies, and people still crap on him. Why? And you talk about people who never been in the wrestling business for a cup of coffee. Russo about how to write a program. Who's did you pay? What territories have you written for? And what have you done in the wrestling business to criticize this man? Give him a break and just stop. And it's not fair. You know, it's uncalled for. It's 20 years in the books, and if there was a chance that he can go on the Talking Smack show, any show, and be on the big spotlight again, it'd be the most highly rated show to see what Vince Russo has to say, because everybody would tune in, because he's still relevant. He still has something to say. He wouldn't go out and bury everybody, but he'd tell his side of the story, which a lot of people don't see. Guys, it's time to put an end to this nonsense. Just let the man be. It's over with. Peace, and stop ranting. Because if you all were a bunch of tough guys, you all would have fought it out 20 years ago. 50 years old, and you're all looking to still make a couple pennies on the dollar doing podcasts. I'm not burying nobody. I have no heat with nobody. It's just my honest opinion of all the shit he gets sometimes, and it makes me sick. And Vince, I'm sorry I had to say it, but that's the truth. And you know how I feel. There's all these guys out there who want to and do this and do that. It's not worth it. And just put it behind you and move on. Life is too short.
Yeah. No, life. I say that all the time, Vito. Life is too short. You know, here's what I don't understand. If you are given a choice, let's kind of look at this honestly. If you are given a choice to either put somebody over or to bury somebody, why would you choose to bury anybody? I mean, bro, there are people that don't like me and go out there and badmouth me and bury me every day of the week. And you know what, bro? I still put them over. Why am I going to bury you? Why am I going to tear you down because of your achievements and your accomplishments? Even if you hate me, I don't care. I mean, that's fine. But, you know, we are given a choice, bro. We're given a choice to lift people up, or we're given a choice to push people down. I try to lift people up. See, Vito, even when we do these shows, it's difficult for me because I'm not a fan of the shows. I see a lot of problems with the show. And for me to criticize the show, it means I'm criticizing somebody. That's why, bro, I reached out to Vince McMahon. Because I'm like, listen, bro, I don't want to sit here and criticize your show. At the end of the day, I want to help you. Like, seriously, I want to help you. I could see what you're doing wrong. So I literally reached out and said, you know, bro, I think I can help you. And, you know, Vince McMahon, you know, got back to me and said that there's nothing available, which is fine. But it's difficult for me to even criticize the show. Because I don't want to criticize anybody's work. I don't want to say anybody's work is bad. But at this stage in my life and with my background being what it is, I am a wrestling critic. That's what I am. I'm a wrestling critic. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to criticize the wrestling. I'm not going to criticize you personally. I'm not going to rip you down. I'm not going to say you're a terrible person. You're an idiot. You don't know what you're doing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at your work, and from where I sit, I'm going to give my professional critique of your work. And it's just my opinion at the end of the day. But like I said, bro, when your life is too freaking short, Vito's been through a lot personally, bro. Trust me. If anybody knows life's short, it's him. You got the choice. We're either going to lift people up or we're either going to tear them down. And if you tear them down, let's go right back to where this conversation started. If you're one of those people tearing other people down, bro, get ready for the karma. Because it's coming, bro. It's coming. And karma is a freaking bitch. And you're going to get back exactly how you treated people. It all comes round robin. But Vito, bro, 26 years. We're here, bro. I want to do more. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be entertaining. We got to do something with your microphone, and we will. But, bro, thanks for joining me here tonight. Thanks for being a friend for 26 years.
Thank you very much for having me. I hope all the people enjoyed tonight, and hopefully I'll be back soon. I think I will. And you know, I'll talk to you maybe tomorrow, okay?
All right, Vito, hold on one second. I'm going to sign off, but hang on. All right, everybody, hope you enjoyed the show. I know we went a little longer than usual. Again, I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. We will work on them. You know, Skull's all the way in Pennsylvania. I'm here in the woods in Indiana. You never know how that internet connection is going to be. We got through it the best we could. I will see you tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks for checking in.